late, but last couple days we had some pregame shows, so that kind of makes up for it a little bit. A little bit late. We're going to talk about the ultimate dress watch, on the show today because I had a question about dress watches, and we're going to talk about that. Okay, Ken is in the house. He was first. And let's see, Mr. Q's in the house. Second. Mustang Will was in there. He was third. And let's see, Mr. Q says Mustang can't top that. Okay. And let's see here. Eduardo is hanging out. And there you go. Coming up on 2 minutes after the hour right there. All right, we're going to talk about dress watches, and of course I'm not wearing a dress watch on wrist because I've got that stunner on the bench. I'm wearing the 231 on wrist, and here's the thing. Somebody asked me, they said, well, you know, dress watches aren't cool anymore. It's not the way to go. Everybody's wearing sport watches. You know, everybody wants to wear a steel Rolex. And dress watches are out, and blah, 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 and gold is out. Steel is the new luxury metal. It's all about steel. And I responded, I said, you know, I have to agree with you. That's absolutely what everybody's saying. But here's the deal. I've pretty much always gone the opposite direction of the way that everybody else is going, right? Everybody else is heavily in debt and broke. And I kind of went the opposite direction of that. I don't have any debt, right? And other people dress like slobs all the time, and I try to not dress like a slob all the time. Now, I am dressed a little bit like a slob right now, but it's August, early August in Maryland. It's hot, and so we can do that. But here's the thing. A lot of channels, people purchase watches to show off on social media and to have in their collection. Here we buy watches for specific purposes. We buy watches to wear and use. And I've found that over the years that having a nice heavy-duty sport watch and a watch that can serve the purpose of a dress watch, if you will. When I say dress, I mean typically when you're wearing a long-sleeve shirt with a cuff. You might be wearing a tie, you might be wearing a sport jacket, you might be wearing a suit. But basically a long sleeve shirt is to me where that embarkation line is between sport and dress, because a big, huge, clunky sport watch to me doesn't look good trying to slip underneath a cuff, which it usually doesn't do well. And it looks out of place. Whereas if you have something nice and trim, something stylish, something that looks a little bit classy, sometimes that can just finish off a nice outfit. If you're going out on the town with the young lady and she's you know, wearing a dress, she's all proud of the new dress she got and everything, I think it's kind of insulting to her if the gentleman doesn't dress up at least a little bit, right? Dress up at least a little bit. I think that's a sign of respect. I think it's also a sign of respect when you're meeting with somebody in a business situation to be dressed decently. Even if they're dressed casually, if they're the ones that you're trying to do a deal with or whatever, it never hurts to be even dressed just a little bit nicer. Doesn't hurt. Just shows a little bit of respect, I think. So, Mustang Will says, sporting my 231 also. Carlos is still in Europe. Leon says, time to leave the 1980s, Craig. This be 2020. You must wear a 48 millimeter steel sport watch and look like a bum with a man bun. There you go. Leon in the house. Absolutely. And have like about a 5-year-old shadow, right? 5-year-old scruffy beard. Unkept, scruffy 5-year-old, 5-day-old growth That's probably the way to do it. Eduardo's in the house. He says AKA Invicta. Invictas are 58 millimeter. There you go. Go for the 58 mil. The 58 mil job. So what do you guys think? Okay, so first of all, we're talking about dress watch. What do you guys think? The other comment that they made, they said, listen, they said, hey, you're only saying that the 002, the Grand Seiko 002, is the best dress watch because that's the one you have. And, I mean, what kind of a stupid comment is that? Why would I have bought it if it wasn't the best? Would I intentionally go out and buy a second-tier dress watch? I mean, duh. I mean, of course, the reason I have it is it's the best. I mean, and objectively speaking, if you look at it, it's the best. I mean, it's absolutely stunning. And by the way, this video feed right here does not do it justice. You have to see it in person, but take my word for it. It's absolutely stunning in person. The movement is incredible. It's incredibly durable. Look at that second hand. Look at how smooth it is. The thing's only 10.2 mils thick, so it's nice and trim. It's a manual wind. It has a good sized crown, so it's easy to manually wind it. It has a 72-hour power reserve. It has a beautiful display back for people that are into that sort of thing. I mean, you know, I could care. I wear the watch, but anyway, it's got that. It's got a beautiful deployant clasp, which makes it extremely functional. It checks all the boxes, folks. It's not really what you would call affordable. It's a little bit on the pricey side, but for what you get, if you compare it to a Calatrava, for example, 5196, I think you're actually getting more watch for the money. And because again, you'd have to compare apples to apples. You'd have to compare the Patek with a deployant clasp. Remember, it's extra money for the deployant clasp. So once you get that, you're up in about the same price range as this one, if you compare apples to apples, right? And the 002 is arguably the perfect size. Now, not for somebody with a particularly small wrist, I'll say that. You'd probably want about a 7-inch wrist or bigger, and I think the 38.5 mil is an ideal size. So I think it's real hard to even debate that. Eduardo's in the house. I like to be slightly dressed up all the time. Where I live, I often run into a mayor, an off-duty police, my boss, a potential employer I wish to make a connection with. Networking is key. There you go. See, there's a man that's in motion, making things happen when he's out and about. He never knows who he's going to bump into, and he might be making some sort of a deal. Very smart man. Hey, learn from somebody like Eduardo that's already proven to be successful. When he says something, you know, take note. Take note, folks. It's free information that he is kind enough to share with you. Free information. Leon's in the house. He says, just wear a Rolex sub all the time. It looks good with everything. And even if it does not match your outfit, it's a Rolex, and Rolex is always classy except for the Yachtmaster, which is ugly. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. That's an ideal troll comment, Leon. Actually, he probably realizes that the Yachtmaster, the original Yachtmaster, not the Yachtmaster 2, right? The Yachtmaster is much more attractive than the modern sub with the super case. The super case is a total fail. So I would not recommend the super case. It's an absolute fail. And a sub, especially the super case sub, looks pretty silly with a suit. It just looks clunky and looks pretty silly. So yeah, I think you can barely get by with a GMT because it's a little trimmer than the sub. But even that is pushing it as far as using for dress purposes. And it really should be solid gold. It should be 18 karat yellow gold if you're going to use a GMT for dress purposes. But really, any dress watch should be solid 18 karat yellow gold. Mr. Q's in the house. The 002 is just as comfortable around a Calatrava or an H. Moser or FP joint? Absolutely. Deport TGV 2020 says the 005 was a perfect watch for hitting up the nudist beach. Will not be sending pictures. Okay. Well, you can blur certain areas. The lovely Bree says hello. She released a cool video today on Twitter. Check it out. Check it out on her Twitter. Her Bitcoin pumping dance. Oh, let's see what Bitcoin's doing. It leveled off there at around 16,000. Oh, wow. It's up at 11.7. 11.7. I don't know if that's current or not. This does not load well. Let me try to reload this, and we'll check back with that once it reloads. But Bitcoin's been pumping a little bit today. Pumping a little bit. And Bree did a little Bitcoin pump dance. Yeah, we got a couple of green candles there. That's what's happened here. We got a couple of green. It was around 11.6. Now it's 11.744. So a little bit of Bitcoin pumping. I think there's a big sell wall up around 12,000. If it can break through that, if it can get comfortably over 12,000 and hold, that will be very interesting. Leon says, classic sub, not that monstrosity called the super case. I hear you, Leon. I hear you. Kyle's in the house. Craig, how is it with the accuracy of the 005? You mean compared to the 005? The 005 is, of course, spot on. It's the 9F. So it was spot on on the day I sold it. I mean, it was still spot on. No drift at all there. The 002 runs about 10 seconds fast a month. That one right there. It on the first 3 months that I had it, I timed it, and it was about 10 seconds fast a month. So, which is acceptable. This puppy here is only about plus 1 second a month. It's absolutely insane. I don't even check this one anymore. I just don't even have to bother. I just know it's so freaking accurate. Let me just see right now. I'm going to look right now. Let's see, 30, 32. Yeah, it's probably about 5 seconds fast right now, and that's since we changed the time for daylight savings time. So what was that, 5 months ago? I mean, it's just insane. Let's see, a new Bitcoin video on my Twitter and Instagram. There you go. And, young lady, are you going to put it on your YouTube channel? Please do. And Mustang Will said, I saw it on Facebook. Nicely done, Bree. There you go. Let's see, what else? Bree, if you think about it, upload it natively to the Hooping Live video section also. I think that would be a good idea. Get something up on Hooping Live too. Or maybe you can wait and do something with the hoop. But yeah, something. Need to get something up on there. So, and by the way, Bree, I'm wearing the purple shirt honoring your video release. Hope you noticed that. Let's see. Leon says, are you hand winding the 231 since it's off the wrist all the time? It's not off the wrist that much. No, I'm wearing it, enough each day to keep it pretty much pegged. This 231 does not require much wrist time. Let me show you a close-up. It is very efficient on the winding, how much wrist time it needs to stay wound. I would say if I had to estimate, assuming you're reasonably active, I think if you wore this like 4 hours a day, it'd probably be fine. I don't think you need any more than that. Rolex is, it's more like 8 hours a day. I mean, they require a little more wrist time to stay going as far as, that's what my experience is. This is very efficient. And of course the 002 there is manual wind, and I wind it about every 2 days. It's got a 72-hour power reserve. So I tend to wind it, about every 2 days. And it is fine. Look at that second hand. I mean, that is just amazing, just to watch that thing just smooth around the dial, just relentlessly, just smoothing around the dial. Meanwhile, Bitcoin's up at 11,766. 11,767. Look at that. Whoa. Now, where's that grinder that made that comment about how much money I lost on my Bitcoin? Where's he hanging out? Where's he hiding now? Oh, boy. But, of course, I'm not selling, so it doesn't really matter what the price is right now. Doesn't really matter. But what is good is what we're seeing over time is Bitcoin is moving from the weak hands to the strong hands. I explained this to Bree earlier today. It's moving from the weak hands to the strong hands over time. And what we're seeing, they track the Bitcoin addresses, and they track how often Bitcoin moves from one address to the other. The amount of Bitcoin that hasn't moved in the last year is at an all-time high. So more and more Bitcoin seems to be moving to people with strong hands that aren't selling. And that's going to create a supply shock, folks. There's going to be a supply shock coming up. So fasten your seatbelt. Let's see. Bree, have you been doing TikTok? Seems right up your alley. Oh, yes, you should follow her on TikTok. She's amazing on TikTok. Mr. Q, Craig, where's a GMT complication appropriate? A diver field or dressy watch? Well, again, I think if you had a gold Rolex GMT Master with a Jubilee bracelet, all gold, I think that could be used as a dress watch. I still think something like the 002 is more appropriate. But, you know, I think you could force a Rolex GMT into a dress watch. As far as when would you want a GMT complication, I think it's fine to have a GMT complication. I wore GMTs for years in rotation with the Date 8. I think it's kind of cool, especially the ones where you can change the hour hand back and forth like you can do on the 005. I think that's a convenient thing. I was using it for the daylight savings time switch. I would move it an hour, right? And that way you don't have to disrupt the minute hand and second hand and all that. And that way I can also keep the 24-hour hand on what was the real time, the real, not daylight savings time, right? So I thought that was kind of a cool way to leverage the GMT functionality. Let's see. Eduardo at College Jet has going to replace it with a, oh, you mean a faux pay bracelet? Yeah, the gold bracelet. That is something I'm thinking about to go with that. To go with that stunner, I'm thinking about it. I'm not usually a bracelet guy, but the one that Steve has is really cool. I really like it. It looks cool. A little bit over the top, but pretty cool. Let's find a picture of that on Steve's wrist. Let me pull it up here. Give me a minute. Give me a minute here. See if I can find it. I don't know if I don't know if I tagged it though. That's the problem. Oh, I did. I think. Okay, let me find a better one here. I want to find one. I took one kind of close showing his bracelet. Let me find it. I will find it. Here we go. Okay. All right. You asked for it, guys. I'm going to show it to you. Check it out. That is cool. Now understand his is rose gold, but it's not a real rose gold. It's kind of just a slight rose gold tint. But you can see it's a little bit different than the gold on the 002. But the one that I would get, if I got one, I'd get that same exact bracelet, but in yellow gold. I think it looks cool. I think it looks cool. And again, I'm not a bracelet guy, but then again, I wasn't a leather strap guy until I got the 002. So Bree, if you're still watching, let me know what you think about that bracelet going with the 002. What do you think? And he wears his all the time. They're extremely robust. The bracelet holds up great. They're guaranteed for life. Let me know what you think about the faux pay bracelet. And that's a pretty big gauge one. I think it's like 7mm or something. It's a large size. He's got about the same size wrist as me. He claims 7.25 inch. Looks bigger, but he claims it's the same as mine. Okay. Let's see. Grinder Lives Matter. Let's see. Okay, not bad. Okay. I personally prefer a classic Franco, however, at Kyle Jet. Okay. I know there isn't a ton of gold in watches, but if gold got up to 5K to 6K per ounce, what would that do to the gold stunner market? I don't know that it will have that much effect on it. I don't know. Historically, I don't know how much effect that's had on it because, as you pointed out, there really is a small amount of gold compared to the price of the watch. It's a relatively small amount of gold that is actually in there. So I'm not sure how much that would affect it. I'm not sure about that. Now, the fact that people are trying to put their money into sound things, in other words, if they're panicking to get out of the US dollar and they're trying to just willy-nilly buy things to park their money, they might buy like a gold Rolex or something, right, to park their money in. You know, I mean, some people might do that. But I think it'd be more likely that they would actually buy some gold coins. Yeah. To Port TGV, the ultimate watch is the ceramic Omega Planet Ocean Diver Chronograph GMT. Well, yeah, for a sport watch, but not a dress watch, of course. Mr. Q is in the house. I'm a hermit crab with apps and social media. Okay, the Port TGV, Craig. Is it acceptable to wear Hawaiian shirts year-round? If you're in Hawaii, yeah. Or if you're in warm weather, I think so. I think Hawaiian shirts are cool. I like them. The real ones, right? I wouldn't buy some cheap Chinese crap, but I'd buy actual real shirts from Hawaii. You know, the real deal. Cool ones. I've got a couple of them. I think it's cool. And I also think Madras shirts are cool. You can wear those with a nice pair of linen shorts. And you could wear a dress watch stunner with a nice linen shirt. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. I'll try to remember to do that tomorrow. Not linen, with a nice, Indian Madras shirt, with some like linen shorts, something like that. That would be a really cool collection. And some really nice moccasin-style shoes. Yeah. Boat shoes, high-end boat shoes. Let's see. So I shall look into a GS from the Elegance collection with GMT. I'm not sure. Do they make such a thing? Do they offer it? That's a good question. I don't think they do, though. See, that's the downside to the GMT, is it would make the watch thicker, right? So, like, if they added a GMT function to that watch, it would make it thicker. So I think the GMT function should be on your sport watch, not on a dress watch. I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Let's see. For all GS fans, Teddy Baldashir did a great video on the spring drive movement. Oh, cool. I will look. The only bracelet I like is on a watch, says Deport TGV. I was always that way, but the times I've seen Steve's faux pay, that thing is cool. That thing is cool. I mean, and it looks really cool in person. Now, again, you've got to be dressed. You got to be wearing a nice suit, nice shoes, the whole 9 yards. I don't think you want to just wear that willy-nilly. If Bree is still hanging around, let me know what you think about the faux pay bracelet. What do you think? You think that would go good with the 002? If you're still hanging around, let me know. Craig, was your wedding band custom made? No, I have what they call a comfort band, and it's 18 karat yellow gold. I have actually two of them. I have one that's a non-comfort band and one that's a comfort band. Let me see if I can get them. Let me see if I know where they are. Hold on. Okay, the only one I could put my hands on right at this moment is the Comfort. And they're a little bit rounded on the inside, which supposedly makes them more comfortable. I'll show you a close-up. So it supposedly makes it more comfortable, and I think it does. Now I have another one that is just flat. It's rounded on the outside, but it's just flat. It doesn't have that comfort thing, and it's not as thick as this one. Not as thick. And I think they're both comfortable. They're both okay. The other one is a little bit flatter. When you put your fingers together, it's not quite as, noticeable that it's on your finger, right? So there's pluses and minuses to both, but I have both types. And I'll have to find the other one. I don't know where it's gotten to. These are the kinds of things you can lose. They're little things. Let's see here. What's next? Bead bracelets with the watch. Then that faux prey isn't for me. I never take my bracelets off. Well, you wouldn't have to take it off. I mean, you could wear it all the time. I mean, you probably dress pretty nice most of the time. Even if you're dressed with casual clothes, I mean, you could certainly wear that. There'd be nothing stopping you. If it's your style. But to me, I would wear it when I'm wearing the 002, which typically is when I'm dressed pretty nice. I would probably not wear that with my sport watch. So it comes on and off very easy. Steve takes his on and off every day. It expands. You just pull it over your wrist. You don't have to unhook anything or whatever. It's really cool the way it works. And it's all 18 karat gold. Let's see. Let's see. Maybe a few gold chains. There you go. Craig, why is the chat unavailable when you rewatch some of the videos? That's a good question. I don't know. I have no idea. I usually see it when I'm rewatching something or taking a look at something. Maybe it depends on whether or not you're signed in to YouTube or not. I don't know, Leslie. That is a good question. What's the pattern on Craig's shorts? Haha. The ones I'm wearing now, this is it's like a map of, they aren't shorts, they're swimsuits. It's like a map of all different islands or something. These are what's the maker? Speedo, right? Speedo, but they're not the real trim-looking Speedos, right? They're the baggy, long Speedos. They make both. I generally have Speedo swim trunks. They hold up the longest. The elastic and everything lasts the longest, generally speaking. So there you go. Got maybe a dozen pairs of them. Leslie, our conversations are fire. Yeah, quality. Eduardo, I know that why I want to reread them, huh? Oh, by the way, Leslie, while you're in the chat, let's get your opinion. What do you think about the faux pay bracelet? What do you think? Let us know your opinion. How many millimeter is your wedding band? I just don't remember. I'm sorry, Kevin. I'm sorry, but I don't remember. It's fairly standard size, though. I don't know what the standard size is, but it's got a nice little weight to it. It's like I say, it's a comfort band. 18 karat yellow gold, always. That's what you always want. Let's see. GS Elegance GMT on email, one of several variants. Oh, okay. All right, let's take a look. Let's take a look. Okay. All right, very interesting. But let's see how thick it is. See, that's going to be, that's the potential rub for dress purposes. See, it's 13.9 mils thick. I mean, to me, I might as well be wearing a sport watch at that point. That, to me, that's too thick to use as a dress watch. So I would probably go with one of their other GMTs that's just a straight up sport watch at that point. So that's the sad part. Now, of course, that's a high beat. But I'm guessing they probably don't make something like that in a 9F, right? And also, here's the thing. I really don't want a dress watch that's steel. Why bother? Why not just have a sport watch? If I'm going to have a dress watch, I want it to be yellow gold. So, yeah. It's weird how it's gone on some of the old videos. Yesterday's video doesn't show the chat if you watch it now. Very interesting. That's not good. YouTube has always had issues. I mean, that's not anything new. I really like the faux pay. I think you can totally rock it, Craig. Well, there you go. There's a good opinion. You know, most of the faux pay bracelets and all are for ladies. And I've seen pictures of ladies wearing several on their wrist. Several of the faux pay bracelets at the same time. So that's a whole thing. They're usually smaller diameter ones than the ones in this picture. We'll show it again. They're usually, you know, smaller diameter than that one. But they wear like multiple ones. One was wearing like a white gold, like a yellow gold, and she was wearing like several. You'll see that on the faux pay website also. Let's see, Carlos. I bet Lamont loves that gold bracelet. There you go. Carlos, at Carlos Lamont, Mr. Q. I think Carlos could really rock a faux pay, especially with his 5196. If he was wearing the 5196 and a faux pay, I think that would be really cool. Carlos would be hip. Hip, hip, hip. All right, let's go through. I'm going to go through the tabs here real quick and just make sure that we're not missing anything from yesterday. Guess we lost the lovely Bree. I don't know if she ever commented on this watch here. That was a possibility. That 29 mil Yachtmaster. That was a possibility. We'll leave that in a tab. I'm going to get rid of this ugly Crador that that Lance sent us. And what's this one here? There's the Hodinkee article with those two stunners. Let's see. And this was the Grand Seiko that we looked at that I think I added to my watch list. And this was the lovely Bree Dancing. The lovely Bree Dancing. What are they trying to do? They're trying to we wanted to show her high heels for a little bit. That's why we're doing can go, and you can find the rest of that video if you want to see it. So we'll go ahead and close that tab out. I just couldn't close it without playing a little bit of it. And then this was another lady's watch that was a possibility that I believe I added it to my list. That's a 27 mil. Let's see. Yeah, I added it to the watch list. That's a very interesting piece. That's a lot of watch for the money, I think. It's in decent looking condition. It's very similar to the watch I had. Of course, different color dial, and it's a smaller watch. The only thing about them, they have one release for the clasp. It's not a dual trigger. And so occasionally it would accidentally trigger open, but you still don't lose the watch. It just hangs on your wrist and you you have to close it up again. So that's a very interesting possibility, and it's $797 make offer and $50 shipping, though. That's not fun. Okay. All right. So there you go. The guy from Auto Europa Naples is always talking about the terrible weather in Naples. Is it really that bad? Well, in the summertime, it's bad. You don't want to be anywhere in Florida in the summertime. In the wintertime, it's gorgeous. Here's my experience with Florida, and I've wintered down there many, many seasons. Anytime from early November, and sometimes even late October, but let's call it early November until early April, it's gorgeous. It's the best place on earth to be, in my opinion. Just absolutely gorgeous. Rarely rains, just beautiful. And other times, you don't want to be there. That's my take on it. That's my take on it. I don't think you want to be there year-round. Mr. Q can pull off the faux pas. Are we spelling it correctly? F-O-P-E. Yes, I believe that's it. I would say that piercing my nipples is in the same order of magnitude of probability as wearing that gold bracelet. Come on, Carlos. Actually, Carlos might look pretty cool with pierced nipples. You know, he hangs out at the pool a lot, so. You got to see that live. Yeah, they want to see the actual piercing. Mr. Q's in the house at Kyle. Naples is only unstable from July to September weather-wise. Pretty nice rest of the time. Yeah, Mr. Q, you must have gotten acclimated to it, because to me it'd be too hot. And in May and June would be too hot, and September and most of October would be too hot for me. Maybe middle of October I could push it, but yeah, I think November is when it really gets nice. For people that don't like the heat, you know. Let's see, Thomas. Hi, Craig. Did you have a chance to show Brianna the email I sent you with the 6-digit Rolexes? No, I didn't show it to her, but what I'm doing is I'm slowly but surely adding on Chrono 24, I'm adding some to my watch list. And also on eBay, I'm adding some things to my watch list. And so we're just in the early stages now of researching this and trying to figure out what to do. So we're going to be able to do a lot more when Bree is here next month. Hopefully we'll be able to do a lot more to get things moving as far as a fantastic starter watch for the lovely Bree. When I say starter watch, she's have other watches, right? But this is going to be her first real solid pro level watch, I think. And again, if she gets an Apple Watch, that would just be an adjunct to it. That would be more of a tool for her to use with her work. And then the watch would be, her first real pro grade watch. I look at these as professional grade watches, professional grade, commercial grade tools, right? That's what I look at them as. And this one is stunning. The 231 is absolutely stunning. Look at that watch. I mean, can you imagine? A sub does not hold a candle to the 231. Not even close. Not even a close call. The bracelet has just the right amount of bling to it. The case has a great shape to it, great finishing. And of course, don't get me started on that movement. So, yeah. Let's see. I hear Horology House has some great pre-owned options. Oh. Is that the guy that was scamming? Is that who's Horology? Remind me who Horology House is. I think that was the guy that was scamming, right? Let's see, Tyler, can you discuss Bitcoin and if it's still a good time to buy? This is the funny thing. When Bitcoin starts pumping, that's when people start coming out of the woodwork and asking if they should buy. I mean, why didn't they buy before it started pumping? I've been telling people for months and months, right? Now, I haven't been telling them to buy because I don't give financial advice, but I've been telling them that I was buying. I actually demonstrated, I showed on the channel me buying Bitcoin at $4,000. I did it live on the channel. I also showed me buying Bitcoin, I think it was just under $10,000, the price. I bought $25,000 worth of Bitcoin, 2.5 Bitcoins, and I did it right on the show. This was before the coronavirus crash. Remember, before we had the big crash? And then some troll was in the comments and saying, "Oh, look how much money you lost, you know." I said, "Well, I haven't lost anything yet. I haven't sold it." And of course now I'm up, right? By my math, right? If you paid $10,000 and right now it's 11,700 and something, almost 11,800. By my math, I would be up right now if I chose to sell, right? But guess what? I'm still not selling. I'm still not selling. But to answer your question, I wouldn't want to be a no-coiner. I wouldn't want to have no Bitcoin 10 years from now, right? Think about 10 years from now. Do you want to have 0 Bitcoin or do you want to have some Bitcoin? That's the question you should ask yourself. Not 2 months from now, 3 months from now, what do I want? You got to think long term here. 10 years from now, would I want to be somebody who has no Bitcoin or would I want to be somebody who has Bitcoin? Me, I'd rather be in the camp of people that have Bitcoin. So that's the camp that I'm in. Can't tell you what camp you should be in, but that's the camp I'm in. Okay, Mr. Q's in the house. Kyle, I had a rings phase, but bracelets never made into the rotation compulsion, LOL. You know what I'm thinking about, Mr. Q, also is a really cool pinky ring. A really cool 18 karat gold pinky ring, maybe with a tiger eye or something, or just something, you know, kind of cool looking like the mobsters wear. So I think that would go with the whole ensemble, right? A nice pinky ring, a faux pay bracelet, the 002, and then I'd go ahead and I'd put my 18 karat gold wedding ring on too, right? Have a little bit more 18 karat gold. Just have a whole bunch of 18 karat gold splashed around. Yeah, I think that's the way to do it. Let's see. Naples is very quiet. See, I much prefer Sarasota to Naples. Naples is, I think, arguably a higher dollar area, but Sarasota is not bad. I much prefer Sarasota. There's a little more going on there, a little more in the way of, arts and entertainment. I think Sarasota is the way to go. And it's not that far to take a trip down to Naples if you want to, but I just think it's more to do in in Sarasota. Let's see, Mr. Q. Florida is very specific with each place. Some places in the state have only one cool feature. Even the beaches vary a lot, sometimes a few miles from each other. Yeah, well, see, that's the neat thing about Sarasota is it has a bunch of cool features. It has a really good beach, really cool downtown. It has, again, a lot of arts and entertainment, very good theater. It's got, like, the whole deal. Great shopping. Let's see. Oh, Bree, let us know your opinion while you're in the chat. I hope you're still there. What do you think about the faux pay bracelet? Do you think it would be, I could rock that with the 002 stunner? There's it is on Steve's wrist. He's wearing the 002 with his faux pay. Now, his faux pay is a little bit of a rose tint. Mine would be straight up yellow gold to match the 002. So let me know what you think about that. Let's see here. Get a pinky ring with a Bitcoin logo. Yeah, that would be cool. Oh, man, that would be absolutely cool. Like a signet ring that normally would have your initials on it and get the Bitcoin logo engraved on it. That is cool. I'm going to do that. That is going to be done. I wonder if Steve can do that, if his people can do that. Okay. Let's see. Okay. We may need to see Mr. Q's ring collection. Oh, absolutely, we want to see his ring collection. Briefit Dances in the House. I uploaded the Bitcoin video to my YouTube channel. A pinky signet by David Yerman would work on you, Craig. Can you send us a link? Send us a link as a suggestion. Kyle's in the house. Okay, he needs to send in a pic. Okay, the bracelet is very classy, says at Brent Dance. Lovely Brianna. Okay, cool. My sister lives just south of Sarasota. October to April isn't so bad for the heat. October to April. Yeah, that's the plan. That'd be good. I'd say middle of October. I don't know if you'd want to be there early October, but yeah, that's a good plan. It's so much fun down there. My gosh, the events, constantly really cool events. They've got a great Christmas parade, and then like a week later, they've got the boat parade. I mean, it's so cool. I've got all kinds of videos on my channel here. Just search Sarasota. I've got tons of videos on all the different things. Their medieval festival is really cool. Let me see if I can find the one video that is really cool. Let me see if I can find it. Stand by here. Don't anybody panic. I will see if I can find this one video. Try something else. Not finding it. Oh, here we go. Here's the one I wanted to show you. This is cool. Give me a second here. This is cool.
Edward! Bruce! Well, I can tell you this one story about the time we were in Ireland.
Don't let me tell them about the time you still wore 2 kilts.
Hey, there's still a wee one. It's one of those things where you wake up in the morning and you're not really sure whose kilt you're wearing. What are you wearing? It was a long night of drinking. I told you to stop me at 3 kegs. All times he's had to absolve me.
You know, we've been fighting in the wilderness for 8 years, and you guys just don't seem to even care. You know what? We're fighting for your freedom, and your freedom, and your freedom, and you people don't even care what we're doing. Bullets come down.
Here we go. This is really cool.
Full well that on this day our knights are these knights are putting it all on the line for you. And it is your voices and your voices alone that will lend them that courage, lend them that strength. So I have to ask you this, my lords and ladies. My lords and ladies, I'm going to go ahead. My lords and ladies, raise your voices for the champion of York. Riding in a mighty steam paladin, your voices for a stern shout.
Okay, so anyway, you guys can check that out. There's a real, I mean, they really do it, man. They go at each other, and he knocks the guy right off the horse, you know, with the jousting. It's the real freaking deal. It's no freaking that lance like breaks all to pieces and stuff. I mean, obviously it's made out of wood that's designed to, you know, but it knocks him right off the horse. pretty real deal there. Mr. Q says Sarasota is better than Naples, hands down. I've only been to the east coast of Florida, Kyle Jet. Yeah, man, Sarasota's eat up with class. I think much classier than the East Coast. Let's see. East has some very secluded, cool spots, Kyle, for connoisseurs. There you go. Florida's a great state. It really is. Okay, what else? We're getting close to wrap-up time here, folks. That's where we're getting. Do I have any more email? Do we have any more email? Yes, we do. This I guess this is being auctioned. Is that the idea? This watch is being auctioned. So Eduardo's thinking about picking up another Rolex. Let's see. Mr. Q. Okay, here's the signet ring. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But I still want all yellow gold, though. I guess they have your choices here. Yeah, 18 karat yellow gold. Yeah. Yeah, but what we need is we need the Bitcoin logo on there, but also in gold. I want it all 18 karat gold, including the Bitcoin thing. That's absolutely the way to do it. Absolutely the way to do it. Now, I bet you Steve could make one. I bet his guys could make one. That'll be the next thing down the list, on the list. Okay, let's go back and see what the email is. What the email is doing. And this is a new old stock condition sub. Look at that. The old style sub in new old stock condition. Interesting. I wonder how much it will sell for. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? But here's the thing. I mean, you'd probably pay a premium for that. And I'll tell you what, I'd rather have the 231. If I'm going to actually wear the watch, I'd rather have the 231. And probably for a lot less money than the premium you would pay for that stunner. I mean, it's a stunner. It's a stunner because it's, you know, that's the way the case should have always been. They should have never come out with the silly. See the shape of that and all from the side? It just looks so much nicer than the slab-sided, screwed up case they have now. Look how classy that is. Why did they ever do that? Oh, jeez. Oh, my goodness. Let's see. I've only been to the bigger cities like Miami, Orlando, and Fort Lauderdale. Okay. What watch did you, Britt, pick? We haven't picked a watch for the lovely Brianna yet. We're in the early stages. We take our time. We don't do snap decisions on this channel. We take our time and decide. It took me a while to pick that I really wanted the 002, and then it took like 2 months for Steve to get one in stock for me to look at. So, I mean, that was a several month ordeal just making that purchase there. And it was years that I learned about the 231 before I ended up buying it. It was literally years because there wasn't a dealer around. I didn't know where I could see one. And I learned about it from Arizona Fine Time like 6 years ago. That video he's got up that I think is still up. It's a good video. But then I never knew where I could find one to see one. And then somehow I heard word that there was a Grand Seiko dealer in this area. And I found Steve and went there and looked at one in person. And the rest is history. But it actually literally took years. I like that sub much more than the new one, but you don't get the new bracelet, so I couldn't get it. Yeah, I hear you, Kyle. I hear you. I hear you on that. Mr. Q, Fort Lauderdale is still fun for the youth. I'm retired from the late night scene, said Mr. Q. Kevin D, best part of Florida is no state tax. There you go. And get this, their sales tax is lower than California also. So you have no state tax and lower sales tax, and I think the real estate taxes are lower too. I think everything is freaking lower than California. Rolex had an opportunity to make the perfect Submariner and ruined it instead. Yep, I hear you, Mr. Q. And our guns, knives, and booze. And don't forget the women. The women in Florida are amazing. Kyle says, Kevin, are you going to Florida? The sub is being sold for 11,400 euro. I sent you another email with a black dial Datejust from 1986 in amazing condition. Okay, I will look. Nice. Nice. Nice piece. Not bad, I say. Not bad. Yeah. I say, and that one is $39.50, so that's not bad at all. All right, we're right at 6 o'clock. I'm going to wrap up this show. I'm going to get in the comments here and wrap it up. Kyle Jett has a question mark. Carlos says, I would love to live in the greater Tampa area. That would include Sarasota. Yeah, I would definitely pick Sarasota, though, Carlos. I would buy something in Sarasota, and then you can easily bop up to Tampa. You're within striking distance of Tampa. And Naples is kind of cool. It's just south of Sarasota. It's kind of cool. So, yeah, that would be the bet. That would be the way to do it. The way to do it. All right, I'm going to wrap this puppy up. Wrap it up. Oh, I should show the lovely Breeze website because she was in the chat. She was kind enough to be in the chat. So let's see. Kevin D says, first time in my life I'm thinking about it. There you go. I hear you. Craig, would you move to Puerto Rico? It's always a possibility. A lot of Bitcoiners are doing that. It's always a possibility to get a place down there because then you don't have any federal income tax either. So that would be a possibility. Like I say, a lot of Bitcoiners are doing that. So that could be a winter place for me if I decided to get rid of my place in Sarasota. Puerto Rico would definitely be a possibility. And then, of course, I'd have to have a place to go to in the summertime because I don't like the extreme heat and all that. But that's all doable. Sent you a date to wrap up with. Dirk will love it. Okay. Wonder if he's even here. All right. Hold on. Hold on here. Let me find this. Whoa. Whoa. Okay. A date with a Jubilee, a bark finish date with a bark finish Jubilee bracelet. I've never seen that combo. And you know, I was never a fan of the bark finish, but it has grown on me. It really does. R. Wags has one. He's got the bark finish date with a bark finish president. That is cool. That is cool. Wow. Talk about an unusual piece. I've never seen that. That is rare. That could have been a special order. Wow. And I I'm not a big fan of the gold dials, but with that pattern to it, that texture to it, that is cool. That would probably look amazing in person too. Wow, folks. That's all I can say is wow. Eduardo says Lennon dial. Yeah, that is so freaking cool. Peter Schiff lives in Puerto Rico too. Yeah, Craig, we never covered the date. We just did. Yeah, Peter Schiff's in Connecticut right now, though. He still has his place in Connecticut, but I guess he lives down there enough to avoid the taxes, right? More than 6 months. For classy places, Ponte Verta, Florida, or Jupiter, Florida. Yeah, I still think you'd be better off with Sarasota. Eduardo sent a mail to Craig. Here's the thing. I toured all of Florida extensively before I decided on Sarasota. Masha and I toured the whole state for over a year and did extensive research before we decided to buy the place there. So it was not just a quick little decision. And it was the right one. As you know, on this channel, we're 99.99% correct on everything. So there you go. Classy Florida means long-term stable income and life. Okay, I love this. Craig hit this buy button. Super Rolex. Price on that date is $12,950 USD. That's not bad for something really special. Let's see. Delray Beach. Okay, don't wrap this up. Derek says. Bree says thank you. Well, you're welcome. All right, folks. Thank you. I am hungry. On that note, we'll cut back to the 002 Stunner, and we'll wrap this puppy up. Click subscribe and click the little bell so that you get notifications. Thank you, folks.